Welcome in, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our True Real Estate Exchange training. I'm going to make sure I mute out everyone, so give me a second. All right, perfect. So welcome in, everyone. If you do not see your business partner on the line, now is the time to share it out. We want to make sure everyone is on tonight's call, preparing for the listing with Angelique Hibbert. Guys, she is extremely thorough. I'm super excited. She's one of my favorite presenters. So make sure you have a pen and paper because you guys are going to want to take a lot of notes. I have my pen and paper here while I'm multitasking here, cooking and making sure I get all the gems for this listing presentation. All right. So guys, make sure you send it out to your partners. Let's give it about another 30 seconds or so. Let's share it out, guys. Welcome in. All right. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, Nicole. We have Oscar, Julian. Hi, Cheryl, David, Queen. We have Miss Celia Niece on the line. Kayla. All right. We have Deshelle. Welcome, everyone. I'm super excited for tonight's training, preparing for the listing. So, guys, you're going to want to get a pen and paper and take as much notes as possible. Miss Angelique Hibbert is extremely thorough. You're very welcome, Nicole. We're glad that you're here joining us tonight. I see our host connecting her audio, so we're going to be starting momentarily. All right. If you guys do not see your business partner on the line, you guys know my favorite sentence. Share the link. Now's the time. Let's make sure that they're on because they cannot miss tonight's training. All right. So I see some new people. Just let's drop city and state. Let's drop some energy as we wait for our host for tonight. I'm in New Jersey, also representing New York. So drop the city and state that you are repping, that you are doing real estate in. So many people within our organization. So let's drop that right here, right now. And let me know if you guys are excited for tonight's training. We know that we all need to sharpen our skills when we're giving the listing presentation. So we want to make sure that we are fully equipped with the knowledge, and that's what's going to be shared on tonight's call. All right. We have Orange County. We have Georgia, Coral Springs, Florida. Love it. Love it. Okay. So guys, we are here to indulge in real estate. So I'm super excited. I want to bring up our team lead, Angelique. Let me know if you are on the line and if you can hear us. Can you hear me?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Hi, Claudiane. Claudiane is on the line, moving and shaking out and about, our team mentor. There she is. Angelique, unmute. I don't know if you was trying to talk prior.
Yeah, I was saying you had to do the hair and put on
Jewelry. I know.
yeah, get ready, get ready.
I already know. That's why I'm making sure everybody's in and ready for you. So guys, get a pen and paper, preparing for the listing. We are super excited to have you guys on. Let me reset the room. Welcome to our True Real Estate Exchange training, our Wednesday night training where we sharpen one another's skills. Tonight we're being hosted and trained by the one and only What's Hot and What's Happening, Miss Angelique Hibbert. So with no further ado, the floor is yours. Welcome in, everyone.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. So we're talking today about how to prepare for a listing, which happens to be what's hot and what's happening in the next few months, because we're all going to need to know what to do. Now, what I'm going to show you today are some of the basics. Does this mean that this is what everybody's going to do? I'm going to call on some people to ask them some questions to see if they are doing different things that's working for them as well. So for sure, I will tell you this. I've done this class several times, and I called Claudiane and Jeff after just to hear what they are actually doing on a daily basis when it comes to the listing. And I got two different perspectives. Part of it was the same. So I'll be asking you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. Crystal, why do I look so big? I look like I'm the whole thing.
You're spotlighted, but once you share your screen, you're gonna go to the
Oh, okay.
it'll be good.
I'm like, wow, my head looks real big. Okay. Um, let's do this. Let's bring this up. And let me get this going here. Can everyone hear me clearly? All right.
Yes.
So and I can't see in the chat room. I'll go back into it, or if someone can look into it for me, that would be fantastic. But it's mastering the listing appointment. So what does this mean? This means is when you actually now you farm the area, you brand yourself, someone has picked up the phone and called you as a real estate professional to come out for an appointment. So now you have made the appointment and you are getting yourself ready to go to the person's property. So that's where we are right now. Let me downsize this a little bit. Okay, perfect. So here we go. So preparation before the appointment. Print your listing presentation. If you have a listing presentation, it's very, very important that it's branded, because if you're new in the business, remember, your real estate resume could be all about your company. So have a printed listing presentation branded with whichever company that you are with, or brokerage, I should say. The second thing is print your listing documents. You want to have all your documents ready. I know people are like, oh no, but they sign online and that sort of thing. Listen, have that document printed. You might need to leave it there so they can review it, right? So you want to make sure that you just have those documents ready to go. Even if they're going to do it online, you could just do a brief summary of those printed listing documents. So when they're doing it online, they'll be able to know, oh yeah, they're familiar with it, okay? You want to create the property comparative market analysis, the CMA. Now, here's the thing, everyone. I'm not big on CMAs, okay? I'm not going to go print 8 properties, this property, do this whole package, spread all the paper out on the kitchen table, but you might want to do that. What do? I do something a little different. And hold on, let me see if I can downsize this a little bit. Let's see where we are. Well, I'll wait and see what I can do with that. So anyway, so what I do is really, because people want to know, you know what? I know Martha sold her house, but my house is way better than Martha's house. So I know she sold it for $565, but I really think I could sell mine for $615. Okay. So sometimes people don't really care what's out there, right? But does that mean you don't bring it? You still bring it. I just don't bring all of the paperwork. It's like this thick. It's a bunch of papers, almost like we're getting ready to do a class or something on what's happening in the neighborhood. So what I do basically when it comes to the CMA, I kind of downsize it a little bit. What are the top 5 properties that sold in the last 90 days? Or what? And if it's not enough, then I'll do, what are the top 5 properties in your neighborhood that sold in the last 6 months? Or I pull just what compares to that person's property. Now, some people might say, yeah, but they need to see what they sold, what the other person sold. But if an appraiser is most likely not going to use those properties, why are we using them? And then you're probably saying, well, how do I know what the appraiser is going to use, right? What if I'm new in the business? So this part is the part where you have to start understanding what you're looking at. Because what if you pull 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 and becomes like 20 properties? Are you really going to go over 20 properties with your customer? So you really have to really start looking at your subject property and what I can compare it to. If you don't have enough properties to show, then that's when you go back. Now, I don't normally go back a year because that's too far. A year for me is too far. Too many things have happened. So many changes have occurred. Is that what I want to do? No, I don't want to go that far. Okay, hold on one second there. Got some things here on the screen. You guys know I'm not that IT savvy. Okay, there I go, but I'm getting there. So the next thing is print the deed. I want to know, could someone please either unmute or put in the chat, what's the purpose of printing the deed? Why is that important? Anybody?
So you can know how many owners.
Very good. That's an excellent reason why. How many owners are on the property, and why is that important? I don't know who unmuted and said that because I can't see you.
Because you want to make sure all the people who need to sign are present at the listing.
Exactly, exactly right. So the other day I got a phone call and someone said to me that's in my group, oh my God, I got a listing. I want to go over there. But you know, and I'm thinking, I said, well, did you pull the deed? And the person says, well, no, I didn't pull the deed. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. We talk about pulling the deed. I said, go ahead and pull that deed. And I guarantee you there's somebody else on that deed, because the way the seller was talking, it was almost like there's somebody else, but they're not physically living in the house. So now you have to make a business decision. Hold on for me one moment. You have to make a business decision and say to yourself, do I want to drive all the way to this person's house? Even if it's around the corner, it's a time thing. Remember, you're a professional, you're an entrepreneur, you're a real estate professional. Am I going to get this information, gather it, take it to someone's house, and then realize that there are two other decision makers? Is this what I want to do? So you really have to think about that. The decision makers. So now you see that there's Gloria on there and there are 8 other people. If there are 8 other people on that deed, how many people need to sign? Somebody drop the number in the chat. How many other people need to sign? If there are 8 other people, then Gloria, 8, right, it's 8 people. 9 people, exactly, Rosemary. So you got to count Gloria. There are 9 people that need to sign. Now, if Gloria does not have a power of attorney for every single person, it's not going to work out. It's not happening, okay? And believe it or not, it happens almost every single day. Somebody will get a listing agreement signed, take it with them, upload it, and can't sell the property. I have sat in attorney's office, or I would say not in offices, but in classes where attorneys have actually said this. And I'm saying to myself, how does someone go so far and not check? So printing the deal is very important. Then you might say, but wait a minute, the customer might say I did too much background. Oh no. Oh, Gloria, I just wanted you to have the information here to show you what's going on. This is what the property appraiser's office has. So if there's any corrections on your deed or anything you need, I just brought it along with me. So remember, you're doing everything for the who? For your customer. You're doing everything for your customer. This is all about your customer. It's not about you, it's about the customer. So next thing you want to do is print the property appraiser's detailed report. Now, every county, city, state has a property appraiser because everybody's paying what? Taxes. So my question to you, I need 1 or 2 reasons, and anybody can unmute themselves. Why would you want to print the appraiser's detailed report? Anybody? Anybody? No one at all?
For
one
price
to check-
purposes,
Say it again?
for price purposes, so you can price the house right?
Okay, well, so Claudiana is saying to repeat the question. Why do you want to print the property appraiser's detailed report?
For one, to verify the square footage on the property appraiser's office to make
Okay.
sure that when you go
That's-
there, it's
Jessica, you can't answer the question. I'm just kidding, go ahead. Now, I'm gonna tell you, Teshka was on the action, we did this and we got the county appraiser. I had the county appraiser on the actual Zoom, okay? Because I wanted the people in the group to understand the purpose of the appraiser's detailed report. Teshka, say it again. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Teshka?
so you can check to the square footage on the when you get to the property to make sure the square footage is correct on the property appraiser's office. If
That
not,
is-
you're gonna have some issues.
That is definitely one good reason. I love it. Cheryl Johnson, talk to us.
You want to check, well, in Kentucky, we call it parcel number, but you want to make sure, you know, you have the correct land identification number and lot lines, etc. And
Okay, that's
also,
good. Go ahead. We're listening.
just, you know, and it gives you an idea of what it was assessed at before, property history, etc. You know what you're dealing
Okay.
with.
Right. That's good. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, so what if I get to the property and it's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but the property appraiser's detail report says that it has 1 bathroom? What's happening? There are 2 possible things that could happen. Anybody?
Yes, they either added something without a permit, or definitely, yeah, I would say something was added and they didn't file for a permit because it doesn't, with the property record, it doesn't, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't match. It doesn't match. So basically, when I go to a listing appointment, I bring that report with me. It tells me the square footage of the home, the living space, first, second floor, if there's a basement, finished basement, tells me how many bathrooms, how many bedrooms. Obviously, when you go into the home and you're touring the home and the property card says that it has 4 bedrooms, but you clearly see 5 bedrooms. Here in New York, I know I couldn't list it, nor do I do it. I don't list it as 5 bedrooms, even though I physically see 5 bedrooms. But if the property card appraisal report says 4 bedrooms, that's how I list it.
I love it. I love it. So these are all great answers. Tashka, great. Cheryl, great. Rosemary, great. Also, David says they did modification without a permit. All those are great. Now, let me ask you this one question. Who enters the information into the system? Who enters the information into the property appraiser's system? Who does that?
I would
Anybody
say
know?
the tax assessor.
That's right. So the county, so it's a person. So guess what happens too? They could put something in there incorrectly, right? So when you're going to go to the house now, and before you get this house appraised, because of course you're looking for a buyer, this year alone, I've had the county come out twice because I know that bathroom should be in that house, but someone forgot to put it in or put it in wrong. Again, I had another property who had a whole nother building in the back, right? And everybody wants to know if it was permitted. And at the end of the day, they had to pull up the microfilm because the house was built in 1947, and the person who approved it to be built is now have passed away from the county. You can't call him because he's gone. Now what? And I had the county come back and they realized that it was a part of the actual building. So it works both ways, ladies and gentlemen, and entrepreneurs and real estate professionals. Sometimes the county has errors. Most times we know the problem is that someone has added something and didn't tell us. So sometimes people add on the back screen of their house. They say, well, I've almost got a whole, I just need to add a roof. Or sometimes I got the roof, but I don't have the sides. So I'm just going to build in the sides. Then you walk in the house and then you realize, especially in the state of Florida here, you step down and you know you're not supposed to step down because now you shouldn't be stepping down into anything, right? Unless it's one of those 1980s sunk-in floors that you have in some certain places where that was the style. But if you're stepping down into something and you knock on the wall and it feels like cement and not drywall, then you know something is not right, right? And so now you have something to match it to. That is the purpose of printing the property appraiser's detail report. But most of all, is to help the customer understand too, because you don't want to go in there. First, you come to list my house. That's right. You come to list my house and you're telling me that, oh, well, the square footage doesn't seem to be right. No. Oh, Mrs. Seller, Carol, Carol's my girl, right? Carol and Gloria. I got a new person now. Her name's Gloria. So Carol, I see that they're saying that you should have 1 bathroom and I see 2. Did you add a bathroom along the way? See, this helps you have the conversation in a nice way. And you know, girl, I bought the house like that. I bought the house like that. It was like that when she bought it. Okay. But you know, you may have a problem. So this is a way for you to have the conversation with the customer where it's not so, did you do it? That sort of thing. It brings ease. Oh no, these are the county documents. That sort of thing. Okay. Print the tax bill. Why are we doing that? Somebody tell me, why are we printing the tax bill? Anybody? What's the purpose? Why am I bringing the tax bill to somebody's house?
To confirm exactly what they're paying and see if they have any exemptions going on there.
That's good too. That's very good. Another reason why you would bring the tax bill is in case they did not
And it,
pay it, to identify the payer, the owner. Yes, because sometimes the tax bill isn't paid. And you know, the tax bill for maybe 2 years and somebody could have bought it and gotten a tax certificate on that property. So you want to make sure that the tax bill is paid. And you're going to bring it even if it is paid. You know why? Because what you're showing is that you're a professional and you're bringing it there and you're saying to them, oh, I was bringing the bill, let you know that the county's got taxes all right. This is great, you know, and here's some information for you. So you bring it as an information source as well. Now, if the taxes haven't been paid, you're going to want to help them understand that the taxes haven't been paid, because what they want to net to leave their property, they have to clearly understand. If there's a tax bill on there for $10,000 for 2022 and $10,000 or $11,000 for 2023, that $21,000 is going to eat into some of their funding that they're going to want. So that's also a good reason why you want to bring the tax bill. Okay? Bill fax. Does anybody know bill fax? Anybody use bill fax? Claudiane uses bill fax. Who else uses bill fax? Anybody? Anybody knows
I
it?
use it.
Who is I?
Teshka.
Teshka uses it. Sonia uses it. Okay, this is good. So yes, so I see somebody else says here to get permit history. Now, here's the thing with the bill fax, guys, right? Bill fax actually helps us understand, was a permit even pulled? So it is not to be used as a title lien search, okay? Don't use it that way. That's not why it's there. However, it's there to give us some lead of information. Here's what happens in some instances. Oh, Carol goes and gets her roof done. She's so excited. ABC Roofing Company comes out, gives her a quote, tell her it's going to be $21,000 to do her shingle roof. She gets her roof done. She's paying the money. She's excited. Oh, I'm getting a new roof. Great, right? She puts the new roof on. And guess what, guys? The building of the ABC Roofing Company doesn't pull a permit, but she's got a brand new roof. Now, her house was built in 1965, and it's going to appear that, okay, she has a new roof. We can physically see the roof is new, but then what happens if there's no permit? Can somebody tell me, how does that count? How does that count to the insurance company? I got a new roof, but I have no permit.
Without a permit, it doesn't count.
Right. So I got a new roof. I paid the company $21,000. I got a new roof. So they're not accounting because there was no permit. So when you have bill fax will normally tell you that there was a permit pulled, and it will tell you if the permit was closed. So you can at least now call the building department and be able to have some form of a conversation, because there are permit numbers there. So that's also important. Now, here's the thing with the permits. I mean, with the roof, they pull the permit, but sometimes, and who knows this? I know Claudiane knows this. Most times, they don't have the inspector come back out to close out the permit. Tell me how that counts. Does it count, anybody?
It'll stop your closing.
In some cases, yes. So here's the thing. It doesn't count, because there's an open permit, but it hasn't been closed. That means the inspector did not come back to the property to say, guess what? Those nails that are supposed to be 1/16 of an 8 apart, and these nails over here are supposed to be 2 inches apart, and the way the whole roof goes, they didn't check it. They didn't check it. They pulled the permit, they did the work, the inspector didn't check it, so it's not closed out. It doesn't count. So this is why. So now what happens? Can you tell somebody how are we going to correct the situation? Because you know you're going to have an insurance problem. The house was built in 1965. It's going to appear that the roof has never been done. There's a new roof on there. Somebody tell me how we're speaking to the customer. How are
The
you talking
inspector
to
have
your
to come out
customer?
and close the permit.
Is that what you're gonna tell me? You're gonna tell me, Carol? Oh, you gotta get, how are you gonna talk to me, Joe? Talk to me, I wanna hear.
Well, I'm a little tired, but I would say, look, there's been a problem. Whoever did your roof, the company or whatever it was that was done, failed to let the county or city know to send an inspector out to close a permit. So we're going to have to take care of that, get a hold of them and have an inspector come out and take care of this problem. And then we can go proceed with our closing.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing, because we haven't listed the property yet. So what we're doing is to be proactive than reactive. So now we're telling Carol, you know, we got to get this, you know, closed out. So now Carol goes now and calls ABC Roofing. And guess what, guys? ABC Roofing is closing due to COVID. They closed out. They didn't have any more business. They closed out. What happens now? What do? ABC is not working. So what are we gonna do?
You could probably call the county and have them send out an inspector anyway. Hey, the job was finished. Can you come and have them do the inspection, see if they can close the permit?
Exactly, and then they will tell us what to do, and if it's not done to the specifications, now we have a documentation, and Carol is going to have called another roof company to come out and do the work and get it done. This is how you are proactive than reactive, because you don't want to wait till you get a buyer comes in, and you know in your neighborhood, because everybody here is a professional at what they do, you knew in the community that 98% of the sales in the community were definitely financed. Less than 10% were bought cash. So you know your probability of getting someone who's going to finance is probably going to need insurance, correct? And even if I'm buying it cash, I'm going to want insurance in the state of Florida for sure. So that's why it is super, super important. Someone asked, what is bill fax? Bill fax is just like a Carfax. So where you get the bill fax from, it says here, Atlantic Building Inspection. So we happen to have an inspection company here in the state of Florida that actually allows us to just send them an email, right? And ask them, could you provide a bill fax on the above stated property? And then all of a sudden, this automated service comes with this nice printout of a bill fax. It's just like a Carfax. It's just a bill fax for a property. So if it is not, and it's something that you can pay for as well, you can check with your association to see if they have that for you, or you can check with inspectors that you do have and see if they can get that for you if you don't have it in your area. We happen to have it and use it, and being a board member, we are diligently working with the Miami Association of Realtors to see if we can get bill fax usage for our 62,000 realtors. So we're looking forward to that. Now, here is something that I do. And everybody does this a little different, but this is what I do. And we're going to have a little bit more discussion about this when we get closer to the end. So I say have prepared a high, medium, and low HUD. Okay. Someone tell me, what else could you use? And why would you prepare a HUD before you get there? Does anybody know what a HUD is? A HUD is basically the numbers, just like you would have on what we're now calling an ALTA, which is basically the closing disclosure information and the numbers that you're going to use at the title company to close out the deal. However, we're not to that point yet, so we're in preparation. So the way I see it, and it has been working for me for quite some time now, is that I just said to myself, I want the seller to see what's on line 603. And I know what line 603, line 603 on a HUD is the net to seller. So what I do, and some of us are new, and some of us have been in the business for a long time, you want to create a relationship with a title company. I do that. You're like, well, let's see. I use a net sheet to give them an idea of what the net proceeds could be. So this is good. So Sonia uses a net sheet, so she can go on and do it herself, which I think is a great idea, and you can definitely do it that way too. When I called Claudiane about it the other day, she says she uses a net sheet as well. We're seeing someone else here saying that they use a net sheet. So here's a little different spin on why I do it this way. One, I'm a realtor. I stay in my lane. I should know my numbers, and I do know my numbers, but I'm a professional. I love being a professional. So when I come to someone's home, I can say, oh, my attorney's office, my attorney's office created some HUDs for us. My attorney's office created some HUDs for us. Now, that's language. I didn't create the HUD. My attorney's office created the HUD. Now, let me say this to you. The numbers automatically populate used by the title company I use, which is very good. Here is something that's missing. When that happens and it automatically populates, and I've seen it happen. So this is why I'm using the HUD. Does anybody know the one thing that people do, but they forget about that they do it? It's a program. Does anybody know? You can think about that. It's a program that doesn't auto-populate. Anyone? So I have a listing right now. The young lady, there you go, green. It doesn't populate. Half of the times, let's see, I love that line, my attorney's office. Exactly, because it's making you sound very professional. I didn't do the net sheet. My attorney's office did the net sheet. Oh, you're more than happy to speak with the attorney. Now, why green? Why green doesn't auto-populate? Sometimes the why green is $20,000. Sometimes the balance is $8,000. Now, if the seller is telling you they want to make a certain amount of money and they are I'm telling you guys, most of the times they completely forget, because where is Y Green? Does anybody know where Y Green sits, or PACE, or any of those programs? Where does it sit? Anybody knows where it is? I got a new roof. I got new doors. I'm so excited. I'm filling out.
The taxes.
Exactly. On the sheet, you can add an additional expense. I know you can, Sonia, and you're absolutely right, but it doesn't auto-populate, and half of the people might not be as smart as you to look for the Y Green on that tiny little line on page 2 at Miami-Dade County or Broward. It is so small you can't see it. Not only that, it's on 2 other pages. So it's in the tax roll, but sometimes you don't see it. And guess what? The seller doesn't even remember because they're paying it in their taxes. It happens all the time. So I'm not telling anyone on here that you cannot use a net sheet. You can use a net sheet. However, I just like to say my attorney's office, because I'm a professional and I just love saying that. And that's just me. So now what I've also done too, I'm introducing my seller to a title company if they choose to use that title company, right? Because guess what? Someone answer this question for me. I have the listing and the buyer, yes, but explain the title company is doing a search and a lien search, which also can cost money. Yes, that's true. And we're going to get to that, Claudiane. So thank you so much for adding that. The HUD sheet got me 7%. Exactly, Joe. And we're going to get to that as well. That's why I don't use the net sheet, but you guys are just ahead of me today. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here's the next thing. And we're going to have an open conversation about that. So, and I almost lost my train of thought here because I was explaining to you about the Y Green and being on there. Oh my goodness. I was reading these. You're going to have to forgive me. Hold on one second. One second. So I head back to the Y Green. So that's why the one reason, and I was saying, yes, you can do your own net sheet, but my point is you have a professional doing it. Yes, Claudiane, I'll answer your question right now. You are absolutely correct. Yes, but explain the title company is doing a search and a lien search, which is also can cost money. Yes. Now, here's the thing. This is the point I wanted to make. If I have the listing, because we're preparing for a listing, right? Now, the buyer is going to come in. The buyer gets to choose, unless they're in West Palm Beach or whatever negotiation you make, the buyer chooses the title company. The buyer chooses the title company, and that means the buyer is paying for title. Here's a question to everyone here. Does my seller have to use the buyer's title company? Does my seller have to use the buyer's title company?
No.
No.
Exactly. So I'm also being a professional, and now what I'm doing is introducing my seller to a title company and maybe two others, because what we know, according to the National Association of Realtors, is that we should never be steering the customer. So we should always be giving 3 professionals at all times in all categories. 3 professionals if we're saying about an appraisal or an inspection. It should always be 3, so we're never steering the customer. So now what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, listen, I had this done by this, ABC title. And if you'd like to speak to them, you can. And if you choose to have them represent you, they can represent you. You don't have to use whomever the the buyer sides choose for title. Okay. Now, if, let's just say, your seller decides to want to use whoever the buyer sides use, what is something you should get from the buyer's title company? Anyone? Anyone? If your seller decides to use the buyer's title company, what should you be getting from that title company? The fees, exactly. The fees. So you want to make sure. So most times, if you have a relationship with the title company, you're giving them business, you're working, and whatever your customer decides to use that title company, their fee might just be $595 or $795. Now, you want to be able to show them a comparison. You know what? Let's check the buyer's title company and see what their fees are. Oh my God, they're closing at $1,500. We're not going for $1,500 because the title companies that I've introduced you to, it will be a savings for you. How do you look showing your customer, your seller, that you are saving them money? So, and then if not, you might be, well, that title company might not work. Maybe this type of company works. Okay. So you always want to be able to show the customer that you are doing something for them. Please unmute if you have any questions or any suggestions or any comments regarding any of what we've talked about thus far. And you are correct, Claudiane. It depends on, what did she put in here? No, but it depends on the county. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. And someone asked, what is Y Green? It could be the PACE program. Basically, it's a program that you can get in almost any state if you can afford to have someone come and repair your roof or your doors or your windows that need to be repaired. You can call Y Green, the PACE program, or whatever evergreen program that's out there to come in and get you a new roof, new windows, new doors. But that assessment goes in your actual taxes. Now, here's a question to everyone on here. What is something that should alert you if you know that the person has done homestead? You look at that property because you looked at the property appraiser's detailed report. Something should stick out to you to make you start thinking there's something more going on with this house. What is a number that would stick out to you to make you aware that there might be something more going on with this property if they claimed homestead? Anybody? Higher taxes, exactly. If those taxes are looking astronomical, start looking for that Y green. Look to see why the taxes are so high, especially if they've done homestead. Then that should indicate to you, boom, there's something else. Let me look for it. Maybe I can't find it, but because I have a relationship with 3 title companies, I can call them and they can help me find out exactly where it is. So now I always know where to look. I look for it, right? Because I don't know how they paid for it, but at least now I would know, and now I can have a conversation with the customer. And all of these things that I'm telling you, what are you doing by 1, bringing the deed, 2, printing the property appraiser's information, detailed report, the tax bill, you're doing the bill fax. Somebody tell me, what are you actually doing? What are you bringing that customer when you bring all this information to them? Anybody?
Value.
Exactly. And that is what you are getting paid for. You're getting paid for the value of information that you are bringing. The value of information that you are bringing. Guys, let me tell you, when you no longer see the commission on there, you are going to need to bring value. You might say, but I'm already bringing it. But how are you bringing it? How are you showing that you're bringing it? We just showed you right here today how you can show a customer the difference from the buyer's title company and a title company or 2 or 3 title companies that you suggest to them that might save them $500 or $600. The idea here is the savings, and you're showing them and you're telling them, or you get in there and you say to them, oh, wow, there's 3 bathrooms, there's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The property appraiser's office, I think, may have this wrong. We have to give them a call. You are looking like the professional all the way around, all the way around. Let's see, someone said something here. Folks, Y Green is a company, like Pampers is a company. Let's see, Jeff, trying to read what you wrote here. Like Pampers is a company. We use the word instead of diapers, laugh out loud. Property assessed clean green PACE program. It was created to make homes more efficient. It's a part of an energy green program. Excellent. It's a great note. Thank you so much for being very descriptive. Now that is good. Thank you so much, Jeff. Any questions thus far? Is this information valuable to you? Because what we're trying to do here, everybody, is add the value. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the HUDs. The reason why I bring HUDs, some people do net sheets. Some people bring compensation sheets. Anybody can bring whatever you feel comfortable with using. But for me, it has worked consistently that if I bring a HUD, on line 101 is going to tell you what is the price of the property. On line 603, it is going to tell you exactly what you're going to net. On the second page, the right column is going to tell you every single fee that you are going to pay. On the first page is also, because I'm going to call Mr. Seller, I would love the opportunity to bring you over a HUD from my attorney's office. If you don't mind checking your statement, to see what is your balance, or do you even have a balance? Because you may not even have a payoff because the house might be paid off. So the next thing you want to do is make sure you articulate what you say. Is your house paid off? And if not, then you can ask, could you check your statement so you can get a roundabout figure of the payoff? Because I would love to bring you some numbers. People want to know one thing: how much money they're going to make. That's what they want to know. So that's why I bring the HUDs. Now, with everything that's going on out here, with this whole lawsuit and people saying that people didn't tell them where the money was going, every single time, the HUD will have the numbers on it. So you are never hiding numbers from anyone. It's always on that second page, top, third row, fourth row. It tells you exactly where that commission dollars are going and who it's going to and how much it is. It could be a percentage or it could be a dollar amount. So you will never, ever have to worry about commissions. So here's the thing. You have now shown the customer, you have not hidden anything. Every time, even if you have to reduce a property, I always send a new HUD. Do you always send a new net sheet? Do you update the net sheet? People don't do that. That's the question. So people will reduce it, but never send them an updated HUD every single time. If I have to reduce a property. And what does it say? You will be talking, let me read it here really quick. I have my net sheet on my laptop and send them each time. Exact, very good. Someone just said something about NAR lawsuit. I'm trying to read that. You will be talking about NAR lawsuits. Beatrice, you want to unmute and tell us?
I think
Jeff
he's just
said,
asking you.
uh-huh.
I'm just
He's
asking,
asking
you're going to be, exactly, it's going to be part of the information so that we know what is going on with the, you know, when you list the properties and the commission structures and all that, what is the update with the NAR lawsuits?
You're asking me what are the updates?
That's correct.
Well, at this point in time, I am a part of the NAR and I'll be up there next week. So I'm leaving on Sunday so I can come back with some grand information for you. I know that there are going to be a few changes. The changes, I will tell everyone right now, are not major. What it is, and I'll break this down as simple as I possibly can. You won't just see the commissions anymore. You will not see the commissions in the MLS anymore. Now, people think that that is a real big, huge change. I want to ask everyone on here, when you saw the commissions and you could see them today, how many people negotiate their commissions? Drop a 1 in the box if you negotiate your commission, or you just accept whatever's on there. Whether it's 3%, 2%, 1%. Carlos negotiates. Who else? Sonia negotiates. Who else negotiates? Me. I ask for more. I ask for more of the time. I love it. Still negotiate. So Sonia or Carlos or Jeff, Sonia, unmute. I want to know how you negotiate your commission. You see it on the MLS. You don't like that 2%, 2.5%. You working with your customer, and you don't want your buyer to, your buyer to actually have to pay the extra 0.5%. You see 2.5%. What are you doing? How do you
So
negotiate?
I generally, are you talking about on the listing side?
No. The young lady asked about, we're talking about the buyer side. So how are you negotiating
You know what?
the commission?
I just generally always ask, because as a buyer, we're bringing you, the customer to help you get this deal closed. Of course, you have the inventory that we want to sell, but if I'm bringing you a buyer that's qualified, that's approved, here's my lender that you can call right away. I usually have everything lined up. My contract is, a 14-day loan commitment, 21 at best, 5-day inspection period, 3-day loan application, 2-day escrow. I try to do the shortest days as possible, and you're going to have a 30-day or less closing guaranteed with no problems. I answer my phone, for one. I answer emails. I answer text messages. I'm bringing value. Why can't I get 3%? Or if it's 2.5%.
Okay, that's good. So what Sonia is saying is that she's negotiating the terms. She's making those terms shorter. She's calling the listing realtor to say, listen. So now, what if the listing realtor say, well, I've got 3 other people, everybody can close in 30 days. That's norm. Everybody closes in 30 days. So at the end of the day, you might not win them all. But here's the thing, she's picking up the phone and she's negotiating. So the changes that are coming soon are going to be non-effective to Sonia, because she doesn't need to see it, because she always negotiates her compensation. Jeff, would you like to unmute? Jeff?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Thank you for the the green pace, the information in such a descriptive way. Love it. Tell us, how do you negotiate? So people can hear what people are saying. That's the purpose of
Hey,
why
so I dropped it in the chat. Don't know if you guys were able to look at it, but I'm literally doing a double-sided deal. So my seller was thinking about putting the property on the market. We actually got ready to put it in as a coming soon. And I said, wait a minute, I may have the best buyer for you. So my buyer had already seen the property when he was doing the renovations. We put together the contract. So given that we're giving a little discount on the price, I negotiated my commission with the seller. And then I got on the phone with the buyer. I said, hey, I got you the price that you wanted, but can you do an additional commission? So I asked him for 5K and he agreed to the 5K. So I'm going to be making a lot of money on this deal. But in addition to that, what we're doing is we're doing agreements on both sides. So we're doing an agreement for the listing side and we're doing agreement for the buyer's compensation because both of those agreements will be going to the title company. So we make sure that there's no confusion come our May 30th closing date. In addition to that,
Excellent.
in addition to that, folks, my buyer is going to be adding to the property. It's a 2-1 now. He's going to be turning it into a 3-2. And guess what? I'm going to be getting the listing and I'm going to be putting it back on the market.
I love it. I love it. Sonia, I see your hand up. Is it something short? Because we're short on
Yep,
time.
it
I
is.
wanna
So
talk to
when I'm
us.
doing my buyers consultations also, I talk to the buyers, and during my buyers consultation, I tell them what my going rate is. And I tell them about my transaction fees as well. So if we go to a property and it's 2.5% and I can't get that 0.5% from the seller's agent, right? I ask them, will you be willing to pay that? And that's where your buyer's agreement come in. You have them sign it. And, of course, you have your transaction fee on there because they need to know what the transaction fee is for because they have to agree to pay that as well.
Exactly. Excellent point, Sonia. I love it. So, guys, I asked these questions to you all because I want you to hear what people are saying. So, Patrice, the thing is just that we just got to be a professional in what we do. We have to know our value and how we work. It's just very clear. I've been using the ABR, been doing that since 2010. I have people sign it all the time because here's the thing. I've taken someone, they've seen a property, it's at 1%. And I said, Nicole, this property is at 1%. The difference is X amount of dollars. Were you willing to pay that for that? Because I won't be able to assist you further at the 1% on this particular property. Now your customer can make a decision on what they choose to do. Are they going to have the great Sonia representing them with great value, Claudiane, Tashka, Beatrice, or Jeff? Are they going to have these, or are you know what she said? She says, Angelique, I want to continue working with you. I don't want to pay the additional, and I think we can find another home in the neighborhood. And we did, 3 houses down with the right percentage. So it works, guys, it works. When you have that ABR. Now, I know we're talking about the preparation of the listing. So let's get back on that and let me stay on track here. But I thank you all for your input because this is helping everyone understand what we're about to get into, Patrice. And thank you so much for bringing that up. I appreciate that. We're bringing you that course, ABR. Great. Excited. Exactly. That's all. Get excited. All right. So moving on here. So when going to a listing appointment, what is the objective? So I have some objectives and I want some people to unmute and people who have not talked before. My objective is to find out the urgency. I want to know from anybody on here, why do you want to find out the reason why they're selling? Why do you want to find out their urgency? Somebody tell me. Anybody?
Motivation.
Motivation. What is motivation going to give us, Glenda? It's going to tell us to do what? So let me create a scenario for you really quick.
Get hired. Are they ready to go?
No. We getting hired. We getting hired. We drove in our car. We getting there. We can get hired.
They're gonna accept your expertise in regards to their price.
Okay, so let me give you an example. And so okay, find out their urgency. So someone asked me the question. Someone asked me why I want to sell. You know, so really, why are you selling? Somebody asked me the question.
What are
Anybody?
you selling? What are you selling?
You know, I gotta tell you, I see a lot of people moving out of the community. My friend Diane moved, Charles moved, I figured I'll sell too because I don't know the new people that's coming in, and I've been friends with these people for 20 years. So I just feel like I want to go on the market. I want to go on the market because, my friends are moving. How does that information, how does that answer help you? What does that help you start thinking?
They may want to relocate. You can help them find another home also.
That's true, but what should that answer trigger in your mind as a real estate professional?
But they probably haven't planned ahead and they're really not ready to go. You could ask them, hey, if I sold your house in 30 days, is that going to cause you a problem? Because they really haven't looked into what their situation is. They're really seriously thinking about moving, but they really haven't planned it.
Okay, that's real good, Joe. I like that too. That's really good. But here's the thing. It's going to help you price the house because it seems like I don't really want to move and I'm not ready to move. So that's very good. So that should trigger, is this person trying to sell the house and Terrell? Okay. So is this person really in a rush to sell or they just feel like going on the market? Now, if I answered and said, well, listen, price strategy, who's David? David, boom, answer to the question. That's a trigger to tell you, how are we going to price this house? Are we going to is this going to be one of these houses I'm going to have to knock the price down and knock the price down? Or if I responded and said, well, I got a new job in Chicago and I need to move in less than 90 days. How are you going to price the house if I told you that? Anybody, somebody unmute.
Above the market?
You're going to price it above the market if I'm in a rush to sell for 90 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's going to be below the market. I'm sorry, below the market.
You want to price it, and we don't want to say below the market. We want to use words like we want to price it aggressively.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, exactly, David. So we want to price it aggressively because I need to move in 90 days. But Carol just wants to really sell because Joe and Sheila and the other ones moved, but she's not really certain, like Joe said. But we still want to get the listing because one, we get to brand ourselves, one, we get to promote the property, and two, we probably will sell the property, but we might have to reduce it. So options and opportunities at all times. Find out the seller's urgency. The next thing is to get that listing agreement signed. So I know Jeff calls himself the listing machine. I just called him the lister, because he gets that listing signed. So he is the lister. Right? So the next objective is to get the listing agreement signed. The next thing is to forge a relationship with true care and value. You want to show the people that you really do care. If you're going there talking about yourself, if you're going in there telling them about your commission structure, if it's all about you and you have this designation and you have this and you have that and I have this and I am fantastic, what's happening, right? Is it about you or is it about the customer? So you have to find a way to integrate yourself while talking to the customer, but about the customer at all times. Try your best not to use the word I nothing. It's always you, Mr. Seller, you, Mrs. Seller, you, Mrs. Seller, you, okay? When people do that, they start caring. They see that you care. They see they're going to trust you without you saying, trust me. Anybody have to say, trust me, don't trust them. Let me tell you. All right. So is there anybody else can come up with something else to help us think what's another objective besides finding out the urgency, finding out to get the listing signed and forging the relationship? Are there any other objectives? Let's see. I don't do that. Funny. They train us to do that. I walk in, never speak about myself. These days, don't even speak about marketing. We hold a conversation based on their goals. Excellent, 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 Jeff. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Try not to take yourself out the equation, okay? If you made it there, that means your branding got you there. If you got the appointment, now you just have to seal the deal. Sealing the deal is talking about the customer the entire time, everything. They chose you to come to that appointment because they already saw what your capabilities are. Do your branding. Do you need to go in there and tell them when you're with NAR, you're with the Miami Association, you're with NARAB, you're with this, I have my ABR. No, you're already there. So it's always all about them. Good point. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so the seller has the door open, right? The seller has opened the door. You both greet one another. What should you have in your hand? Hold on. Wait a second. I have someone in the background who has heard me do this and they're actually giving me the answer. Don't do that. Somebody tell me, what should you have in your hand? Just a wild guess. Anyone?
Your realtor's
Someone.
license.
Your what?
Your license.
Why should you have your license and not your why should you have your license? Talk to me.
Anybody can make up a business card, but when you show them your license, you show them that you are legal, you're on the level, and you're there to be a professional.
And what other reason? Teshka, tell me, what's the other reason?
Because no one else is doing it.
Boom! That's the reason. And you're absolutely right, Joe, because no one else is doing it. Okay? I have no idea why I have an appointment at Carol's house and I'm showing her my business card. Carol already got my flyer. She found me from somewhere. Why am I giving her a business card? For what? She already knows I'm coming. She knows I'm Angelique. She knows you're Teska, David, Joseph. You're doing it because nobody else is doing it. She's gonna remember that. If she's got two people after you or one person before you, she's gonna remember, oh my God, Joe showed us the license. Yeah. Now you're not gonna be like, here, I'm just showing you. Oh no, here's my license, just showing you and you can talk. Plus they're going to Google you anyway. Trust that. Absolutely true. And while they're Googling, you come in and you show them your license, it works every time. The seller also Googles you already. Bring your license. Exactly. And you're doing it because no one else is doing it. So now we want to look around. Some people say, I remember back in the day, they would say, when you go in, find the kitchen table, put the stuff on the kitchen table. I say this, and I'm looking for anybody to chime in. I look around and find an item to discuss. It might be something I've seen in my travels or something that you try to find something that you can start having a conversation to get them start talking about themselves. I don't know, there might be pictures on the wall. Oh my God, are these your kids, your grandkids? It's all, what it says? You're all about to kill it. This is good. Are these your grandkids? Whatever is that little thing. Oh my God, have you been to China? I've seen a piece like this before. Is this an original? Whatever it is, point it out so you can get them to talk about themselves. That's all you're there for. Guys, don't worry about the rest. I just need them to start caring and trusting me. So Bernice says, tapping into their emotion. You are absolutely right, because they are not going to forget you, right? The average person is going in there to get the paper signed and show my commission and I need to leave. No, we're forging a relationship. I care. Yes, I'm a realtor. I understand. I get it. But I want to know. I want to know why you want to move, right? So here, I'm going to show you some questions. Now, you can add on to these, and these are some that I use. It appears that you have created so many memories here. It appears that that's if you have a lot of pictures on the wall, guys, okay? All right, are you sure? Now, this is where we start building the trust and the care. These are the questions that are real trust and care. Are you sure you want to move and leave these memories behind? Who asked that question? That sounds like she might say no. I'm unsure. Now you're not going to get the listing, right? That's what you're thinking. No, you're sure. Carol, do you really? Because you want to confirm, right? You want to confirm she's ready. So are you sure you want to move and leave these memories behind? Right? Because now this is giving you confirmation that she's ready. So now this is going to help you trigger in your mind, we're probably going to get this listing agreement signed, and how are you going to get it going? This is why you're asking these questions. It appears that you create so many memories here, right? So you're caring, you sure you want to leave the memories behind, Carol? I mean, house is beautiful, right? Like, oh my God, this Angelique is something else, right? What made you choose this house? You've made a home. Well, when Gary and I bought this house and now he's passed away, the kids have now, they start talking about their whole life story, right? And you're getting them to talk, right? So now you know why they chose the house, just in case they're going to buy another house, right? I love the kitchen. You know what? The kitchen was everything. They had a beautiful island. You know what she loves. You know what made her feel great. How quickly you want to move, Carol? Well, I'm not in a rush, maybe 6 months, maybe, it's okay, 4 or 5 months. Or she might say, look, I'm ready to move. I need to get to LA. You're asking how quickly so you know how to price the home. Where would you like to move to? Creating opportunities. I don't know. You're working in South Florida and she might want to move to Georgia. So you might have a connect there. So now there's a referral for you. And I say to you, well, I think I really want to move to Kansas. And I think that's where I'm going because my girlfriends are there. And I think it's just going to be great. We're all retiring there and that's what we're going to do. So right in your mind, you're already thinking there's a referral right there. Who are you going to get? I don't know nobody in Kansas. You're going to figure it out, right? Because you're going to find somebody who's I can assist her with that, right? These are things you're putting in your mind. So you're gathering this information, or you could be writing it as you go, okay? So what's your idea of moving out all your valuables from one place to another? Guys, tell me what this question is about. Somebody, anybody. So what's your idea of moving out all your valuables from one place to another? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody? How many people we have on here? I can't see.
If they want to buy or sell and then buy, or sell and buy at the same time, 2 transactions maybe?
So, but
they want to move
question,
just one time?
Okay, but here's the question. So what's your idea of moving out all of your valuables from one place to another? So I'm going to give you the answer or the thought process. I'm asking this question. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, so you could be a resource to them to help them move whenever they get ready to move. If they need a moving company, oh, I have that, or something like that.
Exactly. So that's one. The very first one is to help them understand that they need to move all this stuff out of this house. You've been here for 20 years. Every closet is full. Everything has somebody. And even if it's a small place, guys, believe it or not, people start getting, when you're moving stuff and then you start opening the albums. Oh my God, you remember Carl? Oh my God, look at John at the beach. You start going through all this stuff. So you want them to understand that you can't wait 3 days before closing to move all this stuff out the way. So you want to start having that conversation, but you can have the conversation in question, so and in a caring way. And then you can offer assistance, like Teshka says. These are very important things. Everybody's not going to be ready to get up and go, oh no, we're taking the curtains down today. We're moving this. No. People are still emotionally attached to their house most of the times in the listing process. They still have all their pictures up. They have everything on the wall, everything. You telling them to declutter, they tend to declutter. No, this is the way it is. This is what we do. I love it, right? So your valuables, you call it their valuables. It could be junk, guys. It's their valuables, right? Well, the next one is, will you need the funds from the sale of this property to purchase your new one? Always ask the question. Don't assume that they have to sell to buy. I might be wanting to, listen, I need to be in Chicago in 90 days. I need you to sell this property. I'm gonna give you 6 months, but I need to move. And I'm buying another house right now. I could be taking that money out of from anywhere to buy that house, but I need to move because my endeavors, I need to do that. I know I'm going to be making a certain type of money and I need to do that. So I'm okay with not, if I get stuck paying 2 mortgages for 5 months, I'm good because I realize it's going to work for me, but I need to get this property sold in 6 months, right? So you always want to ask the question, do not assume that everybody needs to sell to buy, because that is not the case. And especially in South Florida, I don't know if we've been printing money in the back or what, but people have money left and right. Any questions thus far? Do you find these questions to be questions to create conversation to get your answers? Because that's what I'm really pushing here, that you have questions to create answers without being direct. So you have to think of some questions. You can use these, add the ones you want to add to get what you need to get in a conversational type of way where you're showing care and building trust, right? They're going to remember you. They remember you already. You brought the paperwork, you brought the deed. Who brings the deed? Nobody prints the deed. Come on. You're bringing HUDs because you're from your attorney's office? Think about that. This person, they got attorney's office? What's going on there, right? Or your net sheet that some people use. Then ask for a tour of a home. Do you realize we have not toured the home? Because what we were doing is doing exactly what Patrice said. Patrice said that we're getting into the emotion. Listen, guys, we're all emotional buyers at some point in time, okay? Whether it's a pair of shoes, whether it's a particular car, whatever it is, you're building the relationship and they're feeling comfort. When somebody just approach you, you walking into the store and somebody approach you, hey, you want to buy this car? Do you want to buy this car? You feel like, hell, when you're in my space, right? You feel like you have no options, like you're all in my space. What you're doing is creating the relationship. So forget about viewing the house right away, okay? We got to get that. Look, the house is going to be the house. It's not going to change from the time you got there till you tour it. So touring it first is not the option for me. Now, some people might want, and you can unmute yourself if you find it very beneficial to tour the house first, right? And it's up to you on how you run your business. I want to get into the customer's mind first because I don't really care what the house looks like. I want to get the listing and I want to sell it. If the roof is tearing down, we're figuring it out because guess what? Carol is now my friend. Carol has now trusted me. Carol knows that Angelique cares. And if I have a hole in the roof, we're going to figure it out together, right? So you want to review the first pages of the listing presentation, right? You want to do that, and make sure it has your company name on it. Make sure you have a real estate resume, not your resume from everywhere. Those of you who are new, there's a way for you to do your resume. Use your company's information on what your company provides and does as your resume. Add things. Anybody here, I don't care what state you're in, you belong to a local association. If you sign up for an MLS, you belong to a state association, and you belong to the National Association of Realtors. Those are 3 associations that you belong to, okay? Write them down on your resume, okay? You paid for it. When you paid that $500, $600, $700 or $800 for the MLS, you automatically got into 3 associations just like that. So make sure you have your resume and information about your marketing, okay? You want to review the deed, the property appraiser's detailed report, the tax bill, and the bill facts. These are the fine-tuned things about the property that is going to help you price the property and help the customer realize a few things. Listen, I know you got a new roof, Sally, but there's no permit, so we're going to need to do this. And maybe you want to get that done first before you get the property on the market. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get your listing agreement signed. Here we have something called coming soon, which gives you 21 days. So you can get it signed and have 21 days to get the property in order, okay? If you pass the 21 days, then you get yourself an addendum to extend that listing agreement start date, okay? So there are ways to getting this done. Review the listing agreement. You want to review the CMA and the market trends. Guys, know your market trends. If you're in a particular area, one person, anybody, somebody unmute and tell me what the market trend is in your area. Does anybody want to tell me what the market trend is in their area? Anyone? Anyone? Now, one person on here could tell me what the market trend is in their area. No one?
Homes are
Nobody?
staying on the market longer in our area.
Okay, one person speaks. So let's see, Jerusha Jackson. Okay, so I'm talking to you. So what's your area?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, Fort Worth. So so in the Fort Worth, Texas area, in the 75001 zip code, tell me what's the market trend there?
Well, that's Dallas. But in the Fort Worth area,
I'm just making it up. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. Because that's what I would tell them. So the homes are staying on the market a little bit longer here. They're staying on the market for about 46 days on average. When sometimes we have about a 3% price drop, a price improvement, if they've been on the market that long. And we are seeing multiple offers come through.
Look at that. Look at that. She was able, and she used price improvement, guys. The word price improvement. She didn't use reduced. She's using real estate terms. That's absolutely great. Let's see what we have in the chat. Let's see. Sonia put in here 605 median price single family home in Broward. That's knowing your market trend, guys. Correction, 607. Look, two more. I'll take it. She had 607. So what she knows is that what's the price in the area, right? What we understand in Texas is that the properties are staying on the market for about 46 days. If we sell your property before that, that means she's done a great job. If not, then you just know it's in the market trend. This is what's happening. And she understands that what the price reductions are. So we gotta know our market trends. When you walk into somebody's house, that right off the top of you, it should just come right on out. Right on out. Easy as that. That's what's going to make the difference in the value on getting a listing in this new market. Thank you so much, Sonia, for that. Thank you. And say your name again so I don't say it right. Wrong.
Jerissa.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. But know your market trends. Listen, you don't have to sit down and put this whole piece of paper and all these papers. Know your market trend. The last 8 properties in here have been on the market for 6 days. There was one that sold right away. They were priced aggressively and da-da-da-da-da. Know your market trend so you can have a basic conversation instead of flipping through a whole book of CMAs, and then people show what's actively on the market. Of course, you want to know what's the competition, but does the competition price mean anything to a closed sale? Does the list price mean anything to a closed price?
No. Because they may not even close for that price. They might even close for what they asked for.
Exactly. Let's see what Jeff is putting in. Know the average days on the market, which she did, 46. For the seller, let's see, for the seller, you are going to be meeting, something's in the way here. For the seller, meeting days on the market is important. It's so important because your seller might have an expectation that my house is so fabulous, it's going to go and just sell in 30 days. No, I want you to understand that your property, it might take 90 days to sell this property due to the area, but you've got to know why it's due to. And that's why it's important for you to know the market trend. Okay. What to say if the question of commission comes up? What to say if the question of commission comes up? Anybody? I know what I would say, but what do you say?
I'm glad you asked.
I love it. Annie, talk to me. So Annie, what is your commission?
So my commission is 3%, and it has always been 3%. It's just that before we were allowed to be able to display it on the MLS system, and now we're not able to display it. However, all along, I think based on my experience, it's a great thing to be able to compensate a buyer's broker because they are working for you as the seller to show the property. So if you want a bigger pool to be able to see your home, my recommendation will be to compensate.
Okay.
And that's how
Jeff.
far I have.
All right, Annie, Jeff,
Hello, hey y'all.
did you hear Annie's response?
I did. So for me, it's a little bit different. So I did ask the person that asked the question, what do you say about commission? In what fashion and what way? So sometimes the sellers ask the commission because they just want to know, so sometimes it's not a bad question. They just want to know, what is the commission? Sometimes the sellers don't even ask the commission. They just trust that you're going to get the job done. And sometimes you have to show them what you're going to do. And sometimes it's reiterating what you spent the last 20, 30, 45 minutes speaking about and highlighting how does that get handled. I think commission, I think the question is a great question, by the way, whomever posed it. I believe if you provide great value, like you guys all picked up here today, you won't really run into a commission question. They're going to be happy to pay you, So for myself, I believe that as we go into this commission situation, since I think Annie or Amy, I'm sorry, mentioned that I think as we run into that, you definitely want to make sure that you give them a value proposition of why you believe the commission is going to be what the commission is. I love that she mentioned that we want to bring a bigger pool of people to your home. That's definitely one of the things that you want to say. In addition to that, you want to let them know that you got to put marketing dollars into giving their home the exposure that is needed. Sometimes we wow the sellers folks with all the stuff we tell them that we're going to do throughout the consultation. They want to know, what is the fee for that? Like, what is your fee for putting it on all the websites? I've been asked that. What is your fee for sending out postcards? What is your fee for doing professional photos? Or they'll say that's included in the commission, right? And I'll say yes. And I'm glad to say that because now I just provided to them an opportunity to show them that they're getting a great agent that's basically paying for a lot of stuff for them. And it's all in the presentation, folks. Don't know if I answered your question. Don't know if you wanted my 2 cents or don't know what you wanted, but I believe I provided some value for you guys in a nutshell.
You sure did. And I wanted you to hear Annie's, what I really wanted you to do was respond to Annie's answer when I asked, what if they ask you the question of commission come up? So you did answer it. However, Annie, in my opinion, I thought it was too much explanation. I
Yes.
love the point that you made about getting more people in the pool to your property, because that's going to drive them. I wouldn't probably have explained, what happened in the lawsuit or what's going on there. Not that I'm oblivious. I just wouldn't bring it to their attention because funny enough, some people don't even know, right? So I wouldn't answer that way, but I wanted to get different answers. I asked Claudiane earlier, yesterday or the day before, and she said, I don't even get asked the question. I don't, because it's just a referral and right, because she's been around long enough. Tasha, unmute and tell me what to say if the question of commission comes up. Talk to us, Tasha.
Well, I wanted to kind of get y'all perspective on providing marketing packages, like different ones. So what I always do is I'll show them all the marketing packages, and that's what I call them, marketing packages. And each one, kind of have different services, and then they kind of pick from there. And I always, if I get a question about discounting my commission, I always go to like my highest marketing package and tell them I'll give them that marketing package, which is kind of already included in my pricing. You know, for a lower cost, which is still like the 6% for both sides to get 3% to both sides.
Okay, okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want to share? Anybody? I'm going to start some trouble here, and I told Claudia and Jeff I was going to start some trouble. Anybody
Yeah, I wanted to
else?
raise my hand. I wanted to raise my hand. I think I was actually going to mention the marketing package, which is what I call it, my marketing plan. Tasha, it sounds like we're in sync, so we definitely must connect post this training here. And I also do the same thing as well. When we come with our backs against the walls, I sometimes do the same. I sometimes offer them my 7 or my 8% package for a lower tier and letting them know that. But myself as well, I provide what someone used the word, which I now is using myself, is called a la carte. And I now provide that as well. And I've been doing that for many, many years. And how did I start doing that? I started doing that back when a seller decided to not work with us because of a commission situation. One of my team partners had ran into the issues, and I said, at that moment, we are going to create a package. And from the package, the sellers now have the option to choose, do they want the 5, 6, 7, 8% package? What do they want? In addition to that, one of the things that I do use, folks, is once I've wowed them with the presentation and they say, hey, can you do it for 5? Or John's going to do it for 4. Or I met with this brokerage. I go back to the marketing plan and I say, what is it from here that you would like for me to remove? Is it the staging? Is it the professional photography? Is it the videos? Is it the photos? Is it the phone call? Is it the open house? Is it the broker's open? I ask them that question. And then when they decide to shake their heads and say, no, I don't want you to remove anything, there we are able to now bring them back to the point of paying the 6, 7, or whatever it is.
Okay, okay. So we have, thank you so much for that, Jeff. So that was good. So you and Tasha are on the same page with the package. I'm not a package person, so I'm going to start some trouble. So Ro, you go. Let's hear what Ro says.
I'm a package person. So when I get asked a question, I tell them that's a great question. I said, it's completely up to you. It's what you're looking for. You can have the works or you can just have the basic. You choose what you want to pay and services that you want. So that's basically how I do it. And I end up having the 5%, 6%, 7%. 6% is usually the middle. That's usually the one that gets picked because in the end, after the presentation, they want it all. They want everything. So they're going to have to pay for that. So they end up choosing the middle, but I give them the option and to say, hey, what is it that you're looking to have? And you choose what you want to have and what you want to pay. And it goes very well.
That's good. That's good. Jeff, do you have your hand up again? Because I have a package question.
I have my hand up again because one of the things that I also do, folks, and I'm excited that we're on here tonight discussing this because I feel like I'm re-energizing myself, is that one thing that I do is I ask them in the pre-consultation or the pre-interview or planning the appointment, I ask them about the commission, or guys, I call a lot of FSBOs, I call a lot of expireds. So one of the questions I ask them is I definitely always pre-close. So I say at the time that I come out, if everything I say makes sense, are you prepared to work with me? And if they say no, then I say, what are going to be the deciding factors? So if they say, hey, we want to know your commission, we want to know what you're going to do for us, I say, fantastic. The commission is definitely something that I'm going to make sure I make a note of. One of the things that I do is that when I'm on the phone with them, regardless of me taking notes, I always tell people, oh, don't mind me. I'm just taking notes of everything you're saying. I always use that tagline. So in addition to that, I let them know that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make a note of that. And I'll make sure that when we meet, one of the things that we discuss is the commission and what we offer you guys.
That's good. That's good. I like it. So that was asking for the business, which ends this, and I have some more information to give you. Tasha, your hand still up, or is it you have another question? Okay. Well, I don't do packages. I don't do packages, and I don't think they're bad. I think packages are good for different personalities. Jeff is what I call him the lister. Rosemary is Excellent. She hasn't even been in the business like for 5 or 6 years. I don't know how long you've been in the business, Rosemary, 2, 3 years. She's using a package. So at the end of the day, if it works for you, you use it. I don't use packages. Here's my thing about packages, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, and this could just be me, and I'm gonna tell you what I do. So this is why I like the conversation, because everybody, I want you to think about what you do, right? So Jeff comes over, Rosemary, they give me this package, and I go with the middle package, right? That's the package that Rosemary really people take. But the house is not selling. It's just not selling. And there are 2 more things in the higher package that probably is going to help the property sell. So now you've got to go back and have another conversation because there are 2 more things in that package that's probably going to sell the property. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. But then now I have to go back and have the conversation with you about commission. So that's why I don't use packages, because I don't want to go back and have another conversation with you. Because and that's only if the property is not selling, right? Now you got to get something more. Or is the customer going to expect that you should just give it to me because I already signed a listing agreement, and why should I pay you more? Can't you just do the 2 more things for me? So that I like to start a little trouble. Talk to me, Jeff. Jeff, you have your hand up? Rosemary?
I have my hand up. Yeah, I love to
Yeah.
play this out with you. So give me an example. So I provide. Who are you today?
Okay,
Sonia, Jessica,
No, I'm
Monica.
not Sonia. I don't use those names. Come on, I'm Carol.
There you go. There you go.
Although I
I
like
get
Sonia,
Carol.
I like those names. I'm Carol. So
So
I
I
come
meet
and
with
I pick.
Carol.
Okay, so go ahead. Let's do it.
Well, nowadays I'm meeting with Carol, and I'm probably meeting with Joseph, who's in the background, right?
Yes, actually, I'm changing my husband's name, but it's okay. Go ahead. I think his name is going to be Stanley.
There you go. So Stanley's in the background, probably listening to us. So the conversation comes up, and we provide the package. So one of the things is that the package is always with me. I do not present the package if the conversation doesn't come up. So that's first and foremost. I believe, folks, that we should never, negotiate with ourselves. So if someone doesn't bring the conversation up about commission, I don't bring the conversation up about commission. We've already established that we have a HUD, we have a net sheet. They analyze what they're going to be walking away with. They're good and they're ready to go. So the conversation comes up now of a package and a commission. So now I'm presenting to them. So a 0, a 1, a 5, a 6, and a 7,
Hold on
for
1
example.
second. I have a question, Jeff. I hope don't lose your train of thought. Why are we talking about this if they're okay with the net sheet and HUD?
Exactly. So if they're okay with the net sheet and the HUD, there's no conversation about commission. But let's say, for example, there is a conversation about commission now, and I now need to present you with the marketing package or the marketing plan or whatever it is, and you decide to go with the 6%, Carol. What do you mean changing later on?
Okay, so you're talking to Carol. So, okay, initially, as Jeff, I want to go with the middle package. I really think it's going to work for me. That 5%, no, I really like what you have. I've looked over it. I think these things that you have here, the marketing tools are going to work to sell my home. So I'm going to go with the package B, which is the middle package. So I'd like to do that. So now my house is on the market and it's selling. It's not selling, but people are coming. And, and I call you and I say, Jeff, I don't know what's going on. I see that you're doing the marketing. I know I picked package B. I probably won't refer to package B, but the marketing you're doing and that I chose seems really to be what I thought is going to work, but we're not selling. I mean, it's not happening. I mean, talk to me.
I can totally understand your viewpoint, Carol. I'm excited that you went ahead and you went with package B, which provides the top 10 things that we do to get homes sold. So at this juncture, if we're not getting to where we need to get to, maybe we probably need to talk about what we need to do, which was probably the price. So my number one go-to, folks, if stuff are not moving, is going to be the price. But another thing that I do is I speak to my sellers each and every single week. It's a part of my communication guarantee program. They're getting an email from me that's very, very detailed each and every single week. So I've already established to them what we've done, what we've pre-done. I keep them updated into everything. So Carol, what I believe we've done is we've done everything on the marketing plan that we're saying we're going to do, but we're just not getting the offers, or we're not getting the number that you want. So Carol, just help me a little bit here. What do you believe that we should do at this point? And I asked my sellers that.
Okay, well, Jeff, you know, when you were here and I looked at the packages, because I did want to see the 5, the 6, and the 7%, I did see 2 other things on the 7% that I think would really sell my home. There are 2 more things I really believe that you can do that are on that 7% that I would really like you to do, and I want to see if that's going to sell my home. No, I don't want to reduce my home, Jeff. I want to do those 2 extra things on the high,
Package
the
C.
highest. Yes, well, Plan C, I want to do 2 things out of the Plan C, and I don't want to reduce my home because I want to try those 2 more things.
Phenomenal. And I've had that. I've had where sellers have decided to increase the commission to get more eyes on the property
Oh, no,
because I
Jeff,
suggested
I'm
it to
sorry.
them.
Jeff, I'm so sorry. I don't want to reduce and I don't want to increase the commission. I mean, I've already given you the listing. I think you're doing a good job, but the house is not selling. And I don't want to pay for the 2 extra things.
And I agree with you. So I've been in that position as well. I've been in that position where the house is just not moving. And the goal, folks, the goal for the 62 people that are here today is to sell the property. So we have to keep mindful of that. So if I need to do an additional marketing, if I need to run an additional ad, if I need to, maybe we need to talk about staging the home at this point. You know, although you chose package B and the staging was not a part of that, then what I need to do is we need to speak about staging the home at this time. So that conversation is coming up. Hey, remember one of the one things that I had told you when I had originally came over was that maybe we should look into staging the home. While we're not able to sell the property, I've had very much success. For example, so now I'm painting a picture now. For example, I had a house on the market for about 4 months. We did not have any staging. It was a blank canvas. And what I personally decided to do was I said, hey, let's go ahead and let's stage the home. Let's redo the photos and let's show the home as a stage property. That house sold in 2 days once we listed it, you know? So I believe painting the picture, providing ideas, providing conversation is one of the one things that's going to help us to get the property sold, Carol. And at this time, I think it's definitely staging the home.
Okay, so all right. You think staging the home is going to work? Okay, that's one out of the 2 things that I really want. I don't want to pay a higher commission and I don't want to reduce, but I do understand and I do need to sell. I tell you what, if I pay you an extra, you know, $800 to get the home stage, could we work with that? I do not want to go to the higher percent. I'd rather just pay a flat fee to get the home stage to see if that worked. And if the staging doesn't work and we have to reduce, I don't want to pay you more because now I'm already giving you the $800. Okay. If you're agreeing to do that. So what can we do here?
So I think that's a fantastic situation. So it's all about negotiation. So we negotiate at the time that we get the listing. We negotiate at the time that we're receiving offers. We're also negotiating at the time that we're in the agreement. So everything's always a negotiation. The negotiations do not stop. So although we offered the package and we offered everything to you, if we need to talk about reducing the commission or reducing the price or reducing anything, it's definitely something that I've been in the situation of, and I've definitely handled it extremely well. So Carol, what I would definitely say is let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's get the stager out here, and
So
let's
wait
see
a
what
minute,
the
Jeff, just so I'm clear. So you're agreeing to the $800 that I'm going to pay for the staging?
Well, I'm agreeing to is to get the stager out here and get the fee from the stager, and maybe what it is that you take up that fee now.
Okay, so the most I'm willing to do is $1,000. So I'll do the $1,000 for the staging. If the property doesn't sell in the next 30 days after the staging, okay, and I have to reduce to sell, am I gonna get my $1,000 back? Because that means the staging wasn't it.
One things that I'm gonna ensure that we happen, Carol, is that we get you the best offer, and sometimes that's making sure that we round up the buyers to get you your money back, and sometimes it's including that staging price into the price of the home. So let's say, for example, Carol, right now you're at 760, and it's gonna cost us $1,000 to stage the home. Then maybe what we need to do, Carol, is go ahead and let's list your property for 761,900. That'll make sure that you cover the staging fee in there, and at the time that we negotiate your offer, we make sure that we get you that staging money back.
Okay, so what you're doing is going to increase the price. Correct? You're gonna increase the price by $1,000. So I'll get my money back that I'm putting here. But what if you have to reduce it because the staging didn't work? That's what I want to understand, Jeff.
And that's another great question. What about if we need to reduce the price? So what it shows is that we've done everything that we can possibly do to get the home sold. So for example, we've reviewed the comps in the area. We spoke about the open houses. We spoke about the ads that we're running. We spoke about getting other realtors here. We spoke about our database. We spoke about now staging the home. And Carol, unfortunately, we're just not bringing in the buyers. So although you do not want to reduce the price, I believe that we honestly need to go back to that conversation of reducing the price, because I want to show you what's happening here in the area. Your average days on market is this versus your home. The last home that sold for this amount versus your home. And if you're seriously looking forward to getting to California or getting to Chicago or getting this property sold and moving on with your life, then I believe that we definitely need to talk about reducing the price. So now we pull more people into the home. Now, Carol, in addition to us talking about reducing the price, the staging, are we going to sell the home furnished or are we going to sell it unfurnished now?
No, well, I mean, I don't know how the staging works, Jeff. I thought someone comes in and they stage the property and they take the furniture away. So what I'm concerned with is whatever money I'm putting into it for the staging, if the staging does not sell my home, all I want to know is if I have to reduce the price, will I get my staging money back? That's what I want to know. So in other words, I picked letter B, and letter B is fine. I'm going to put the money up for the staging. If the staging works, then fine, that's great. I got my price and I'm going to get it back because we're going to raise it for whatever the difference is of the staging. But if the staging doesn't work and I have to reduce my property, I want to know if I'm going to get the money back. That's all I want to know.
I most definitely. That's one of the one things I'll make sure that we discuss when we talk to the buyer's agent and we talk to the buyers, and ensure that we get you top dollar for your home. Now, in addition to getting you your staging money back, what we're gonna do is we're gonna retake the photos of the home so they can see the property in a new light. We're gonna recall back all the realtors that visited the property. We're gonna go ahead and any leads that we received, we're gonna call those buyers so now they can now see the home that's being staged, and we're pretty much gonna bring your home back to life as a new listing.
So then what you're really saying to me is that you're confident that my house will sell at the price and I may not have to reduce it.
I believe that the staging is definitely going to help us, because what's happening right now, Carol, is that we kind of need to disengage ourselves from the property, and we kind of need to put the property almost like when you walk into like a Z gallery or you walk into a new construction home. Have you ever walked into those new construction homes before, Carol?
Yes, I'm moving to one in California. Yes, that's what I'm trying to get there.
Love it, love it. And look how good they looked, right? Carol is
They're
Carolyn.
fabulous. I love it. I'm actually buying the model home.
Exactly. And that's one of the one things of why they do that in new construction. Their goal is to put the properties on the market, get those inventories moved as quickly as possible, and move to the next project. When we're looking at selling Sunset and we're looking at HGTV and all those other channels, you watch that, do you, Carol, or no?
I'm not really into that. I do watch HGTV sometimes, time to time. That's a lot of stuff that they have on there, but I do watch it. I do like it, and when I have the time. However, I do love the model homes. I really just want to get my property sold. I've got to get to California. I'm willing to pay the stager. I just want to know at the end of the day, if I have to reduce my property, that we are going to have that discussion about the money I put for the staging. So whomever you need to talk to, I need you to talk to them, okay?
I could definitely agree with that. So what sold you on the home is probably the way that it was put together, that new construction. And our goal is going to be to do exactly that to your home. Carol, when you come back to this house, once the staging is done, once the new photos is up, you're not going to even recognize this home to be your home. So I'm excited that we're going to be bringing your new home to the light of our new buyers and our old buyers. And my goal is really to get you top dollar. If we do need to talk about having a conversation of reducing the price, we'll definitely have that conversation when the time comes. But let's go ahead and let's get the stager out of here as quickly as possible. Let's get the home stage. Let's get the photos up. Let's get the open house to rock and roll. And let's get your property sold.
All right, let's do the HGTV thing. Let's see if it works. You've been good this far, but we'll check and see. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Jeff. Let me know when they're coming and I need to know a price. Please make sure you email me an invoice.
Most definitely. One of the things that we could definitely do, Carol, is also when the stagers come, would you like to be here? Maybe we can talk about different concepts. Maybe we could do contemporary, we could do modern, we
Jeff,
can do
I just told
traditional.
you I watch HGTV from time to time and I do like it. Of course I want to be here. Come on.
Most definitely. So we'll make sure we bring that when the stager comes in, we bring you that HGTV lifestyle. Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome, Jeff. See you later. All right, guys. So I wanted to bring this out because there's so many different ways to really present yourself. Great job, Jeff. Great job, Carol. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And so there's so many things that you can do. So one of the things I didn't tell you from a different perspective on what I do is that I always still keep it. I do not use the packages, but you see the packages do work. Jeff has a consistency. Although Rosemary didn't speak, she has a consistency. They know how to get the answers to the questions. They broke hardcore Carol down, who wants to move to LA and knows everything and wants her $2,000 back for staging. He worked with her. That's what he did. And he added value. Somebody put in the chat here that the person added value. Carol is caroling. Oh my God, you guys are hilarious. Somebody wants a recording. During negotiation, consider stage pricing. Let's see, you guys, okay, that's good, that's funny. Okay, Lord, okay, right. But do you understand that these are things that you may come up, you're going to have to start showing your value. Put a 1 in the chat if you really think that Jeff showed the value. This is what we need to learn to do. Now, on the other hand, and I did see someone else have their hand up, and I'm going to get to you in a second. Excellent, excellent. That wasn't planned. We never planned it. But I did tell him I was coming hardcore today, and I wanted to put him out there because I don't do the commission things, right? So I said, we're going to rally it up a little bit. So when the customer asks me the question, what to say if the question of commission comes up? Mr. Seller, how much money do you want to make? Mr. Seller says, well, no, I want to make $350,000. Now, remember, if you're doing your homework ahead of time, if you have the model of what you stand for, because I don't know how many of you on here work for 1% commission, but I will walk away from a deal for 1% commission. Some people will work for the 1% commission. That's fine if you choose to do that, but I have a model. If my model says that I'm going to work for 3%, if my model says I'm going to do 2%, or if my model says I'll do 1.5%, that is your model. So at the end of the day, I asked the seller, well, how much money do you really want to make? And they say, well, I want to make $350,000. And this is true. I just had a customer that told me, I want to make $350,000. So I said, well, how much, roughly your payoff? She told me what her payoff was. And I said, okay. And then so I did the HUD, I got the HUD done. And I told them exactly the percentage to put in the HUD. And the person is going to make the 300. They said they wanted to make $350,000. I know I'm going to be able to sell the house at X amount of dollars because I know the market trend and I know the price. But what if I don't sell the house at that price and we have to reduce it? Am I going to be reducing my compensation when the price is reduced? That is a question that you have to ask yourself when you are doing your business. The answer for me is no. The value I have for my business is that I'm just not going to work just because some people might look and say, but no, wait a minute, it's a $30,000 commission, or if it's $20,000 commission. So if I'm going to do less for myself, am I going to do more for the customer? And if even a customer asks you that, could you reduce your commission? You use the Brian Buffini way. So you're asking me to reduce my commission. Does that mean I'm going to reduce the value that I'm giving you? Or am I going to reduce my commission and still give you the quality of value that I said I was going to bring? So these are the questions you really have to start asking yourself. No, I don't do the packages. I ask them, I bring the HUD, and I ensure that the amount they say they want to make is shown there, right? In all due respect, there are some people that will pay, that would want to, their house, they want me to price the house for way more than it's valued. You have to make a decision if you want to take that. You have to decide, are you going to take a listing that's more than it's ever sold in the entire, I want to break records, but are we going to break the record today? Sometimes you take the listing because you get to brand yourself and you get to get another listing in the neighborhood, but you never sell that particular property unless, or that person might get reduced. Oh my God, it's 2 hours. So we're done at the end. As for the business, it was so good. I didn't know how long we were going. As for the business, and I'm going to show you this really quick, and we're going to call it an end unless somebody has any questions. I want to thank you all for being on. Jeff, thank you so much. We did not plan that, ladies and gentlemen, professionals. We did not plan that. But here are some of the things that all of us do. I don't care what state that you are in. I don't care what state that you are in. These are almost 90 different things that I have written out that you could use for value. You do all of these things at some point in time. Some of you do, some of them you don't have to do when you're listing a property. Do you see how many things that you do? Almost 90 different things. I'm going to stop share now. I'm going to thank everyone for being on. Thank you all. If you have any questions, I mean, we're way over time. Let's see, we got on here at 7 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope we added value for you today and a concept that understanding one way isn't the right way. It's the way you feel and know your business, guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Claudienne. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, all of the people, Betty, I think, Patrice, for everyone who asked questions today and gave comments. Make it a great night. And you guys are going to be in the huddle tomorrow. Enjoy. Thank you so much. And wait, what do you say, Claudienne? I always say, we're going to keep it hot. We're going to keep it happening. Love, peace, and real estate. Good night.